Hello everyone, Chris Guthrie here, and in today's video, we're going to do a revenue update of our seven-figure e-commerce business. I want to dive right into Amazon, and then we'll follow up with Shopify for the first time, and just so I can show you the difference between two of those platforms, and then talk a little bit about how we're getting the traffic to our Shopify store, and then some of the goals we're trying to do to grow that. So let's dive into it. Now, if you're new to this series, essentially just every month, I show what the numbers look like, and then I talk about some of the things we did that month to grow the business. As I mentioned in the past, I'm primarily an equity investor in this business, and I provide strategic advice, and I don't deal with the day-to-day as much. The company that we have here, it has 2 full-time employees that are factored in as well, and they help with a lot of this work. So let me go ahead and just jump into the numbers, and then we'll talk about along the way what's been done to try and grow the business and what we're working on along the way. Now, if you want to see previous updates, click the description below. There'll be links to those, and you can find out more information about the reason behind how we build this company and then what we're trying to do to grow it. So let's dive into the Amazon numbers to begin with. Okay, so for the month of March, it's great, $170,000 in revenue compared to last March, that was $60,000. So we're doing well. That's roughly 3 times what it was. Year to date, $534,000 in revenue. So that's fantastic. We should continue to grow that. I mentioned one of the very first videos, our goal is to do multiple millions of dollars in revenue on Amazon, and so we're still on track to do that. If we look at the previous 12 months, we're at $1.5 million in revenue. You can see there's a bulk of revenue in December. But overall, the Amazon side of things is great. We're growing there and doing very well. We have multiple products, multiple product lines that are selling there. One of the things we're doing to try and grow our sales on Amazon, I mentioned this before, but we have a full-time employee in the company. And one of the jobs that she does is actually to go out and help develop these products, work with our sourcing agent, and then go out and help to get samples for those products, and then go out and start doing the initial process of ordering these products. And so that's something that we're trying to get more systemized so we can launch more products more quickly. The one thing I found, and the one thing I tell to other new sellers, is that really selling on Amazon is not that complex. It's more about a matter of building out great systems so that you can scale your business. And so one of the reasons for doing that, of course, is to hire employees that can help you with doing these things. And so the goal for this business is to not even really require the time of my business partner to come up with product ideas, but to offload that to one of the full-time employees. And so that's something that we're testing in the early stages still. We have samples from those products. Those aren't up live yet, but should be in the next few months or so getting some of those products up. So that'll be great, and that should also help to grow the Amazon revenue. The other great thing too, this month, revenues were of course higher and still growing, but the nice thing is that the margins are looking good, about 20% margins. Now those margins could be better, but that again does factor in there's 2 full-time employees in this business, and some of the products that we're selling are still being airshipped. And the goal really for this year is to get everything sea shipped. And part of the challenge with doing that is just there's so much product that we're going through that it's going to take a lot of capital to do that. So either can contribute more capital to the business, or we can use the profits from the business to try and drive that momentum. So that's what we're doing right now is using those profits to primarily do that. Now on the Shopify side, and this is something that's a familiar story. Let me just log in here or show you the stats here for this one. On Shopify, our stats are about a little under 10% of what they are on Amazon, $12,798 in March, and then a few days without really any sales. If you look back to year to date, then our revenue is about $39,000. So it's again a little under 10% of what we're doing on Amazon. Amazon's $500,000. Now, if I go to if we look at the previous 12 months and show you what the revenue is there, then that should be, again, it's going to be under 10%, but just to give you a sense of what the trailing 12 months look like, that'll be $102,000 in revenue there. So that revenue on Shopify, it's nice to get sales that are off Amazon, because it's one way to de-risk the business. And if we're ever to try and sell this company down the line, then it's something that buyers will look at. If everything's just on Amazon, then there's a little higher risk there than as opposed to if it's spread out. Now, the goal, of course, would be to considerably grow what's on Shopify as well as what's on Amazon, so that the ratio isn't as heavily skewed towards Amazon. But that's a challenge, right? Anytime you have a fast growing e-commerce business and you're putting money back into both reordering products, launching new products, and doing everything it is to grow sales on Amazon, it's hard to keep that up on Shopify as well. And so one of the things that we're doing on the Shopify side is to try and grow our organic traffic. So I actually want to show you our Google Analytics here as well, and we'll talk about some of that as well. So from organic search, we have a little under 30,000 visitors for the month, and that's great though, right? Because that's basically free traffic. Well, I'll talk about some of the costs that go into that traffic here in a second. If we do year to date, what our traffic looks like, you can see that we actually grew in March compared to where we're at from the previous 12 months. So let me just do that here. Okay, so for April to April, you can see the growth a little bit better here. And so really this has just been brought about by trying to create more and more content for the site. So there are 3 writers essentially that help with the creation of content for the site. And then one of the duties of the full-time employees is to, they're basically a managing editor for the blog for the site. And then they take the three different writers that are doing articles, and then they publish those and promote those articles as well. Now, the thing that's interesting is that part of the increase in traffic that you saw in 2018 over what it was in 2017 was actually from an SEO site audit. So one of the things that my co-founder business partner rather, he went out and spent a lot of time analyzing just the on-page SEO for all of the different articles. And essentially, he was working towards trying to get more traffic. And so he was consolidating some articles into fewer keywords and focusing on, one main keyword as opposed to a bunch of different keywords, but focusing on taking content from one and content from another and then putting it into just one kind of much larger article. And so that's something that helps because it's just longer content that more comprehensively covers a topic. Something else that we did as well is we de-indexed articles that weren't getting any traffic. If they're not getting any traffic now, then it's likely they won't get any traffic in the future once you've given them enough time to see if they're going to be going anywhere. And then also worked on improving the click-through rate. So there's stuff that you can do on the Google side where you can change the headlines and the descriptions of what you might see when someone searches in Google. And so that was some of the work that was done as well to improve those elements as well. So that's the main kind of side of the Google side of trying to grow that traffic. And then really we're just going to continue to use the experts that are in our field to write more articles and then use the full-time employee to help promote those articles and continue doing that strategy to help grow the organic free traffic that we're getting from Google, and then probably look towards doing more Google AdWords. We've done a little bit of that in the past, but trying to do more of that in the future so we can get more sales on Shopify as well. But really, that's kind of the overall look of what the business looks like. So for the first 3 months of the year, over $500,000 in revenue. As I mentioned in the very first video of the series, the goal is to do several $1,000,000 in revenue from Amazon and alone. And so for Shopify, we'd like to get maybe to $400,000 or so in revenue for the year. Maybe more than that if we can continue to grow organic SEO traffic and then also some Google AdWords. But really, that's kind of the overall view of what we're doing to try and scale the business. And then really just working towards trying to get everything over to C shipping so that we can make better margins on the products. And then that will, of course, allow us to take home more profit to put back into the business. So the goal of this business has always been to continue to grow it and not really to take as much profits off the table. So for me, in terms of one of the business partners, I'm not taking very much cash from this company. It's really more about just trying to scale the business, which is great because in my case, I have multiple different revenue streams and I don't really need this cash. If you're in the situation where you need the cash to live on for your e-commerce business, then the best thing you can really do is just look at what your expenses are on a personal level and see what things you can do to limit those, and then just try and focus on trying to grow your business as best as you can. Sometimes too as well, you might already have a day job and you stay at that day job for as long as possible, and that allows you to take the cash that you're earning in your business and push it right back into the business to grow it further. And then once you get to a certain level where you want to just kind of keep it at that level and start taking more cash, then that's something that you can do as well. But that's kind of a high-level overview, first quarter, of how things are looking. Feel free to comment in the comments below what you want to see in these types of videos and just questions you might have, and I'll answer questions related to this month and how things are going with the business, both in the comments below, and I'll try and address those types of questions in future videos that we do in this series, and also separate types of videos as well. So thank you so much for watching this video, and hopefully you enjoyed what you learned and maybe got some ideas on what you could do to improve your own e-commerce business as well. So thanks for watching.